You worked for it, dreamed about it, fought for it. You told yourself, once I get there, I'll finally be happy. And then, you did it. You reached the goal you've been chasing for months, maybe even years. You crossed the finish line, got the promotion, finished the degree, bought the car, lost the weight, reached the milestone. But after the celebration fades, after the messages stop coming, after the noise settles, you feel something unexpected, emptiness. It's quiet, uncomfortable, almost hollow. And you start to wonder, how can I feel lost right after getting what I always wanted? The thing is, since we were young, we've been taught to chase the next thing. Get good grades, get the job, get the house, get the approval. And somewhere along the way, we start believing that happiness lives at the end of achievement. That once we arrive, we'll finally feel whole. But here's the truth no one tells you. There is no final arrival. There is no single moment that suddenly completes you. Mainly because the human mind quickly adapts. What once felt impossible becomes normal. And the thing you thought would make you happy becomes just another part of life. Psychologists call this the hedonic treadmill, the endless cycle of chasing, achieving, and adapting. We run, reach, and then start running again. That's why the satisfaction of success often fades so quickly, not because the goal wasn't meaningful, but because we built all our happiness around reaching it, not living it. When you finally achieve something big, your brain goes through a rush of dopamine, that surge of excitement, pride, validation. But just like any high, it fades. And when it does, you're left with a strange emotional hangover. It's not sadness exactly, it's the absence of the chase, the quiet after the storm. Because for so long, you had something to look forward to, a target that gave your days meaning. And now that it's done, you wake up and ask, what now? That emptiness is the gap between who you were when you were striving and who you're supposed to become next. It's not failure, it's a transition. Our brains are wired for pursuit. We find joy in movement, in progress, in challenge, in purpose. When you're working towards something, every small win gives you dopamine. That's motivation. But once the goal is complete, that steady source of purpose disappears. You're left standing on a mountain that you spent years climbing, and suddenly, you have nothing to climb anymore. That's why many high achievers, athletes, or even graduates fall into emotional lows right after success. The very thing they thought would fulfill them leaves them searching for meaning again. It's not because the achievement was wrong, it's because it was never designed to complete them. Here's something most people never realize. We don't actually crave the reward, we crave becoming the kind of person who earns it. Think about it. When you were striving toward that goal, you were learning, growing, changing. You woke up with direction. You were driven, focused, alive. That's where the meaning was, not in the trophy, not in the applause, but in the process of transformation. And when that process ends, it's normal to feel empty. Because for a while, your purpose had a name, a shape, a timeline. And now it's gone. But emptiness isn't the end of the story. It's a signal, an invitation to redefine what happiness means for you next. Every major goal you achieve in life has a hidden ending. It quietly asks, now that you've reached this, who will you become next? Some people panic in that silence. Others learn to listen. Because inside that emptiness, there's room to rebuild, to dream differently. It's the moment between chapters. And how you handle that silence determines what kind of story you write next. The problem is, many people never pause long enough to listen. They immediately chase something new, another job, another purchase, another distraction, hoping to fill that inner void. But you can't outrun emptiness. You can only understand it. Because the emptiness isn't proof that your dream was meaningless. It's proof that you're ready for another one. So, how do you deal with that emptiness? How do you find meaning after achieving something big? Start with reflection. Ask yourself, what did I actually love about the journey? Was it the goal itself or the growth it demanded from me? You'll often realize that what fulfilled you most wasn't the end result. It was the sense of progress, purpose, and becoming better every day. That means fulfillment doesn't come from finishing. It comes from continuing. The solution isn't to stop chasing goals. It's to choose goals that align with your values, not just your ego. It's to fall in love with growth instead of achievement. Because happiness doesn't happen when you arrive. It happens every time you move with purpose. Sometimes we feel empty not because we lack things, but because we never slow down to appreciate what we already have. When you're always chasing the next milestone, you start living in a constant state of almost. Almost successful, almost enough, almost happy. But gratitude brings you back to the now. It teaches you that joy doesn't always look like celebration. Sometimes it looks like peace. Drink water slowly, watch the sunrise, call someone you miss. Feel what it means to be alive, not just to achieve. Because emotional fulfillment doesn't come from adding more, it comes from noticing what's already there. The hardest thing for a driven person to do is pause, to stop chasing and to simply exist. But that pause is where you reconnect with yourself, where you rediscover your why, where you learn that stillness isn't wasted time, it's necessary time. Because in stillness, you hear the quiet truths that ambition drowns out. You don't need to earn your worth. You don't need to prove your value. You're allowed to be content, even without a goal in sight. Happiness isn't a destination. It's a daily practice, a series of small, conscious choices. It's choosing to be grateful for what you have, to forgive yourself for what you're not, and to keep growing, not because you're broken, but because you're alive. When you understand that, achievement stops being your source of identity and becomes your expression of it. You'll still chase dreams, but with a lighter heart. You'll work hard, but you'll know that peace isn't waiting at the finish line. It's something you can carry along the way. So if you've achieved something and still feel empty, don't rush to label it as failure. It's not emptiness, it's expansion. You've grown beyond what once defined you. And now you're standing at the edge of what comes next. The joy you're looking for isn't lost. It's simply moved to the next chapter you haven't written yet.